Welcome back YouTubers to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're following me and you're new to my channel, I welcome you all. I'm Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness, sharing my life stories with Asperger's syndrome, OCD and the like, along with tips and tricks along the way. So if you see any of the tips and tricks that I advised you or do by step, they are the ones that obviously works for me, and I guarantee that sometimes it may not work for you as it has for me. So vice versa, if something that you've done in the past or present to manage your symptoms of your everyday personal struggles, of your mental health or whatever it may be, works for you, that's great. It's just about a give and take, respecting each other's differences. But in a word of warning though, or disclaimer, as always, I'm no medical doctor, I'm just your normal everyday Joe blog. So whatever I share with you all right now, basically, in the jurisdiction, if seeing any signs and symptoms, seek professional help or second opinion for yourself or your loved one. So this one's basically going to be all about fibromyalgia. So hopefully you've learnt something along the way. Give me a like for thumbs up and engage with me by commenting below what you have maybe learnt as something so open for full discussion, as well as any of these all about series that I'm doing right now to try and cover. Please feel free to share your stories if you've got any, so that hopefully we can learn something along the way. So let's begin this anyway. As we know, basically, you may be questioning what is fibromyalgia. It will be on everybody's mind and, saying of it. So what it is fibromyalgia is a disorder characterized by widespread in the musculoskeletal pain, which is obviously muscles and skeleton structure, accompanied by fatigue, sleep, memory, depression, anxiety, and mood issues. Researchers have believed that fibromyalgia amplifies painful sensations by affecting the way your brain processes pain signals. Fibromyalgia is a chronic condition that affects about 5 million Americans. Doctors diagnose fibromyalgia based on patient's symptoms and physical exam. Patients experience pain and stiffness in muscles, but there are no measurable findings on x-rays or most lab tests that are to be done. While fibromyalgia doesn't damage the joints or organs, the constant aches and pains as well as the fatigue obviously can have a significant effect or impact on daily life for people that suffer this condition. Fibromyalgia is a common syndrome in which a person has long-term body-wide pain and tenderness in the joints, muscles, tendons, and the soft tissues. Sometimes begin after physical trauma, surgery, infection, or significant psychological stress. In other cases, symptoms gradually accumulate over time with no trigger effect. So while I'm continuing this, there'll be some diagrams to show step by step how it probably affects the patient or the person that suffers from fibromyalgia, along with other images that you'll see throughout this, so to make it easy to understand and follow. So feel free to keep following. Women are much more likely to develop fibromyalgia than are men. Many people who have fibromyalgia also have tension headaches, temperamental joint disorders, or TMJ, irritable bowel syndrome, anxiety, and depression. While there is no cure for fibromyalgia, a variety of medications can help control symptoms. Exercise, relaxation, and stress reduction measures also may help. While that is happening, basically, we need to question who is at risk. Women between the ages of 25 and 60 has the highest risk of developing fibromyalgia. Doctors aren't too sure to why, but women are 10 times more likely to have the condition than men. Some researchers believe genetics may play a role, but no specific genes have been identified as yet. Causes of fibromyalgia. There are many theories about the causes of fibromyalgia, but research has yet to pinpoint a clear culprit to why this is happening with the causes. Some doctors believe hormonal or chemical imbalances may disrupt the way how the nerves signal the pain. Others suggest a traumatic event or chronic stress may increase a person's susceptibility. Most experts agree that fibromyalgia probably results from a combination of factors rather than just one single cause. Symptoms of fibromyalgia may include widespread pain. The pain associated with fibromyalgia often is described as constant dull ache that has lasted for at least 3 months. To be considered widespread, the pain must occur on both sides of the body and above and below your right waist. Fatigue. People with fibromyalgia often are awake and tired, even though they report sleeping for long periods of time. Sleep is often disrupted by pain, and many patients with fibromyalgia have other sleep disorders such as restless leg syndrome and sleep apnea. Cognitive difficulties. Symptom commonly referred to as Fibro Fog impedes the ability to focus, pay attention, and concentrate on mental tasks. Other problems. Many people who have fibromyalgia may also experience depression, headaches, and pain, or cramping in the lower abdomen. Sleep problems, anxiety, or depression. Specific tender points. Causes, incidents, and risks. The following conditions may be seen with fibromyalgia or mimic its symptoms are as follows: chronic neck or back pain, chronic fatigue syndrome, depression, hypothyroidism, and which is your underactive thyroid, Lyme disease, sleep disorders. Symptoms: pain is the main symptom or syndrome, may be mild to severe. Painful areas are called tender points. Tender points are found in the soft tissue on the back of the neck, shoulders, chest, lower back, hips, shins, elbows, and knees. The pain then will spread out from these areas. The pain may feel like a deep ache or shooting burning pain. The joints are not affected, however, although the pain may feel like it is coming from the joints. Also, another point is the fibromyalgia pain. Pain with fibromyalgia tend to wake up the body with aches and stiffness. Some patients pain may improve during the day and get worse at night. Some patients have pain all day long. Some pain may get worse during the activities that the annoying cold or damp winter, anxiety and stress. Fatigue, depressed mood, and sleep problems are also seen almost on all patients with fibromyalgia. Many say that they can't get to sleep or stay up sleep and they feel even tired. Basically, other symptoms of fibromyalgia may include irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, memory and concentration problems, numbness and tingling in hands and feet, reduced ability to exercise, tension or migraine headaches. For women that suffers with fibromyalgia, they may also experience the following symptoms: migraines, painful periods, irritable bowel and bladder, restless leg syndrome, sensitive to loud noises and bright lights. Fibro Fog symptoms may include the following. If I've mentioned this before, basically, if not, they are as follows: misplacing the objects of any kind, like they may misplace their keys, they may misplace their wallet, becoming easily distracted, forgetting plans, difficulty carrying on conversation, inability to remember new. Possible causes or triggers of fibromyalgia may include, as I just said, physical or emotional trouble and normal pain response. Areas in the brain that are responsible for pain may react differently in fibromyalgia patients. Sleep disturbances, infections such as a virus, although none has been identified. Fibromyalgia is most common among women aged 20 to 50. The following conditions can be seen with fibromyalgia or mimic its symptoms, as illustrated in the diagram: chronic back or neck pain, chronic fatigue syndrome, depression, hypothyroidism, underactive thyroid, Lyme disease, sleep disorders. Symptoms to look out for: pain is the main symptom of fibromyalgia and may be mild to severe. Painful areas are called tender points. Tender points are found in soft tissue on the back of the neck, shoulders, chest, lower back, hips, shins, elbows and knees, as shown in the diagram, as you'll see soon. The pain then spreads out to these areas. The pain may feel like a deep ache or a shooting, burning sensation of pain. The joints are not affected, although the pain may feel like it is coming from the joints. Fibromyalgia pain. People with fibromyalgia tend to wake up with body aches and stiffness. For some patients, pain improves during the day and gets worse at night. Some patients have pain all day long. Pain may get worse with activity, cold or damp weather, anxiety and stress. Fatigue, depressed mood and sleep problems are seen in almost all patients with fibromyalgia. Many say they can't go to sleep or stay asleep, and they may feel tired when they wake up. Other symptoms of fibromyalgia may include IBS or irritable bowel syndrome, memory and concentration problems, numbness and tingling in the hands and feet, reduced ability to exercise, tension or migraine headaches. Signs and tests for pain triggers. To be diagnosed with fibromyalgia, must have at least 3 months of widespread pain as mentioned, and pain and tenderness in at least 11 of the 18 areas, including arms, elbows, buttocks, chest, knees, lower back, neck, ribcage, shoulders. Again, a diagram will show you those trigger points as well. Guys, blood and urine tests are usually normal. However, the test may be done to rule out other conditions that may have similar symptoms. Fibromyalgia may include genetics, because fibromyalgia tends to run in families. There may be certain genetic mutations that may make you more susceptible to developing the disorder. Infections. Some illnesses appear to trigger or aggravate fibromyalgia. Physical or emotional trauma, post-traumatic stress disorders has been linked to fibromyalgia. Why does it hurt? Researchers believe repeated nerve stimulation causes the brain of people with fibromyalgia to change. This change involves an abnormal increase in levels of certain chemicals in the brain that signals pain through the neurotransmitters. In addition, the brain's pain receptors seem to develop a sort of memory of the pain and becomes more sensitive, meaning they can overreact to pain signals. With the fibromyalgia pain. However, why does it hurt? Is basically simple. That levels, as I said before, levels of serotonin in the brain have also been reported as relatively low in patients with fibromyalgia. Serotonin is a chemical messenger, which is your neurotransmitter, that is associated with a calming, anxiety-reducing effect. Patients with fibromyalgia, however, has an impaired non-rapid eye movement, or NREM, sleep phase, which prevents deep sleep and often causes them to wake up fatigued and tired. The onset of fibromyalgia has been associated with psychological distress, trauma, and infection. Signs and tests for pain triggers. To be diagnosed with fibromyalgia, to bear in mind, however, you must have at least 3 months of widespread pain and pain intensity in at least 11 of the 18 areas, including arms, which is near your elbows, buttocks, chest, knees, lower back, neck, ribcage, shoulders. Thighs, blood, and urine tests are usually normal. Fibromyalgia employs your sex. Fibromyalgia is diagnosed more often in women than men, as mentioned. Family history. You may be more likely to develop fibromyalgia if a relative also has the condition. Rheumatic disease. If you have rheumatic disease such as rheumatoid arthritis or lupus, you may be more likely to develop fibromyalgia. Complications of fibromyalgia. Pain and lack of sleep associated with fibromyalgia can interfere with your body to function, or your ability to function at home, or on the job, at school, wherever. The frustration of dealing with an often musculoskeletal condition may also result in depression and heart-related anxiety. Fibromyalgia triggers. An important first step is to identify what makes the symptoms worse. Common triggers may include cold or humid weather, too much or too little physical activity, stress, or poor sleep. Fibromyalgia and sleep. Nearly a third of people with fibromyalgia also have major depression when they are diagnosed. The relationship between the two is unclear, however. Some researchers believe depression may be a result of the chronic pain and fatigue. Others suggest that abnormalities in the brain chemistry may lead to both depression and an unusual sensitivity to pain. Symptoms of depression may include difficulty concentrating, hopelessness, and loss of interest in their favourite activity. Text and diagnosis of fibromyalgia. Your doctor may diagnose fibromyalgia after hearing your symptoms and doing a physical exam. A fibromyalgia blood test may help too, and your doctor may do other testings to rule out other conditions. Be sure to describe your pain in detail, including where and how often it occurs. Also bring up any other symptoms such as fatigue, sleep problems, or anxiety. Yet in the past, doctors would check the 18 specific points on a person's body to see how many of them were painful when pressed firmly. Newer guidelines don't require a 10-point exam, however. Instead, a fibromyalgia diagnosis can be made if a person has had widespread pain for more than 3 months with no other underlying medical condition that could cause pain. Blood tests. Although there's no lab test to confirm, your doctor may want to rule out other conditions that may have similar symptoms. Blood tests may include complete blood count, erythrocyte sedimentation rate, thyroid function tests. Treatments of drugs for fibromyalgia. In general, treatments for fibromyalgia include both medication and self-care. The emphasis is on minimizing symptoms and improving general health. No one treatment works for all symptoms, however. Medications for fibromyalgia. Medications can help reduce the pain of fibromyalgia and improve sleep. Common choices include pain relievers, over-the-counter pain relievers such as acetaminophen, Tylenol, others, ibuprofen, or naproxen sodium may be helpful. The doctor may suggest a prescription pain reliever such as tramadol. Narcotics aren't advised because they can lead to dependence and may even worsen pain over time. Another one is antidepressants. Duloxetine and milanosiprin may help ease the pain and fatigue associated with fibromyalgia. Your doctor may prescribe amitriptyline at night to help promote sleep. Anesthesia drugs. Medications designed to treat epilepsy are often used in reducing certain types of pain. Gabapentin, neurontin ghrelase is sometimes helpful in reducing fibromyalgia symptoms, while pregabalin was the first drug approved by the Food and Drug Administration of America to treat fibromyalgia. Therapy. Talking to a counsellor can help strengthen belief and teach you strategies for dealing with stressful situations. Support networks can also help for people that suffer from fibromyalgia, be it in your local area where they have support groups, or just support networks on your social media, say on Facebook and Twitter. Treatment. The goal of treatment is to help relieve pain and other symptoms and to help the person cope with the symptoms. The first type of treatment may involve physical therapy, exercise and fitness program. Stress relief methods include light massage and relaxation treatments. If these treatments do not work, your doctor may prescribe an antidepressant or muscle relaxant. The goal of medication is to improve sleep and pain tolerance. Medicine should be used along with exercise and behavior therapy. Cyclose is a medication approved specifically for treating fibromyalgia. Lifestyle and home remedies for fibromyalgia. Self-care is critical in the management of fibromyalgia, and this goes for any other medical conditions. Reduce stress is tip number 1. Develop a plan to avoid or limit overexertion or emotional stress. Allow yourself each day to relax. That may mean learning how to say no without guilt, but try not to change your routine completely. People who quit work or drop all activity tend to do worse than those who remain active. Try stress management techniques such as deep breathing exercises or meditation. 2. Get enough sleep. Because fatigue is one of the main characteristics of fibromyalgia, getting sufficient sleep is essential. In addition to allotting enough time of sleep, practice good sleep habits such as going to bed and getting up the same day and limiting daytime napping. Exercise regularly. At first, exercise may increase your pain, but doing it gradually and regularly often decreases symptoms. Appropriate exercises may include walking, swimming, biking, and water aerobics. A physical therapist can help you develop a home exercise program. Stretching, good posture, and relaxation exercises are also helpful too. Pace yourself. Keep your activity on an even level. If you do too much on your good days, you may have more on your bad days. Moderation means not overdoing it on your good days, but likewise it means not self-limiting or doing too little too often on the days when symptoms flare. Maintain a healthy lifestyle. Eat healthy foods, limit your caffeine intake, do something that you find enjoyable and fulfilling every day. Some experts say diet may play a role in fibromyalgia, just not the same role in all patients, however. Certain foods include aspartame, MSG, caffeine, and tomatoes seem to worsen the symptoms in some people, but avoiding these foods won't help everyone. To find out what works for you, try limiting the foods one at a time and recording whether your symptoms improve or fails. Cognitive behavioral therapy is an important part of treatment. This therapy helps you to learn how to 1. Deal with negative thoughts, 2. Keep a diary of pain and symptoms, 3. Recognize what makes your symptoms worse, 4. Seek out enjoyable activities, 5. Set limits, 6. Support groups may also be helpful. Other recommendations to include are eat a well-balanced diet, avoid caffeine, practice good sleep routines for good quality of sleep, acupressure and acupuncture. Severe cases of fibromyalgia may require a referral to the pain clinic. Alternative medicine for fibromyalgia, last but not least. Complementary and alternative therapies for pain and stress management aren't new. Some, such as meditation and yoga, have been practiced for thousands of years, but the use has become more popular in recent years, especially with people who have chronic illnesses such as fibromyalgia. Several of these treatments do appear to safely relieve stress and reduce pain, and some are gaining acceptance in mainstream medicine, but many practices remain unimproved because they haven't been adequately studied. Acupuncture is a Chinese medical system based on restoring normal balance of life forces by inserting verifying the needles through the skin to various depths. According to Western theories of acupuncture, the needles cause changes in the blood flow and levels of and spinal cord. Some studies indicate that acupuncture helps relieve fibromyalgia symptoms, while those show no benefit at all. Other things to look at, however, also under acupressure and acupuncture. Severe cases of fibromyalgia may require a referral to the pain clinic. Alternative medicine for fibromyalgia, last but not least. Complementary and alternative therapies for pain and stress management aren't new. Some, such as meditation and yoga, have been practiced for thousands of years, but the use has become more popular in recent years, especially with people who have chronic illnesses such as fibromyalgia, because they haven't been adequately studied. Acupuncture is a Chinese medical system based on restoring normal balance of life forces by inserting verifying the needles through the skin to various depths. According to Western theories of acupuncture, the needles cause changes in the blood flow and levels of neurotransmitters in the brain and spinal cord. Some studies indicate that acupuncture helps relieve pain for an extended period of time. Another form of acupuncture that I forgot to add is electroacupuncture and laser acupuncture. Fibromyalgia can be treated with electroacupuncture, in which electrodes are connected to acupuncture needles in a patient for electrical stimulation therapy. Electroacupuncture is another way of stimulating the acupuncture points. It uses a needle hooked up to small wires connected to very slight electrical currents. Heat, moxibustion, and massage acupressure can also be used during this electroacupuncture process. Laser acupuncture is another alternative treatment for fibromyalgia patients. During this treatment, low intensity lasers are targeted at specific areas of the body to stimulate the endorphins. The stimulated endorphins block transmissions of brain signals to the brain, which offer relief to the patient. Chiropractic care. Chiropractic care is a very common alternative treatment for fibromyalgia pain. Chiropractic care is another alternative treatment is a treatment that can be used for pressure points, back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, headaches, and pain from any musculoskeletal injuries. Chiropractic may be effective for fibromyalgia because it helps improve pain levels, increases cervical and lumbar ranges of motion. Chiropractic is based on the principle that the body is a self-healing organism. To reduce pain and increase healing, the chiropractor uses spinal adjustments. The goal is to increase the mobility between spinal vertebrae, which has been restricted, locked, or slightly out of proper position. With gentle pressure or stretching, multiple gentle movements of one area or specific high velocity thrust, the adjustments are said to help return the bones to a normal position or motion. This treatment is said to relieve pain and one betters health. Basically, show no benefit at all. Another one is massage therapy. This is one of the oldest methods in the book of healthcare still in practice. It involves use of different manipulative techniques to move your body's muscles and soft tissues. Massage can reduce your heart rate, relax your muscles, improve range of motion in your joints, and increase production of your body's natural painkillers. It often helps relieve stress and anxiety. Some research suggests massage may help relieve fibromyalgia pain, though it's valid and yet not fully proven. Practitioners say that applying moderate pressure is key, while the technique is less important. Rubbing, kneading, or stroking all seem out. A significant other can learn to provide regular massages, and a 20-minute session may be long enough to get the desired results. Yoga and Tai Chi. These practices combine meditation, slow movements, deep breathing, and relaxation. Both have been found to be helpful in controlling fibromyalgia symptoms. Fibro Fog. Many people with fibromyalgia have trouble concentrating, a phenomenon known as Fibro Fog. While getting treatment for pain and insomnia may help, there are other steps can take to improve the focus. Write down notes about things you need to remember. Keep active by reading or doing puzzles, and break tasks up into small manageable steps. Well, this quickly ends obviously all about fibromyalgia. Give me the likes, thumbs up, support, comment below if I've missed out anything. Feel free to share these videos around. Feel free to follow me on my social media sites. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Feel free to also turn on the notification bell if you haven't done so already to keep up to date with what I've been up to and whatnot. So all I'm going to do, guys, thanks for support, thanks for watching. Do what you love what you do. Until next time.